On today's show, the Dallas Mavericks need this one player to make a leap the most this season if they want real success in the playoffs and otherwise. Talk about that and more in today's Locked On Mavs.
Stop it! Stop! The number one pick will go to the Dallas Mavericks. Cooper Flagg will fly in Dallas.
Dogs, all of us, all five.
You are Locked On Mavs, your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Still can't leave.
Your team every day.
I'm gonna get a city like that.
And welcome. You are Locked On to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Mavs for 10 years. Thanks for being every day, making Locked On Mavs your first listen each and every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season's around the corner. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets today. You putting down that Cowboys Super Bowl?
The Cowboys missed the playoffs. Jerry Jones passes into the great beyond.
I mean, after the news today, that's not
Never happening.
Joining me, the post-game prodigy from the Great Slightly Biased YouTube channel. What you got for me, Slightly Biased?
Not that I'm wishing it would happen.
Move.
We're starting off on a very starting off. The advertisers are like, did they just threaten a life for the start of their podcast? No, we
and
didn't.
we'll do it again. No, I'm just kidding.
We didn't do it, guys. That was just a misspeak.
We're down a man today at our
Right,
normal.
You know, KD tweeted at me today.
Tweeted at you today? He's going at everybody. He's gone after, I think, like 4 or 5 Locked On hosts so far.
Interesting. Yeah. I didn't see it until like midday, and then I realized that, oh, that is a KD tweet.
Did you say something positive or negative about him?
No, I was on KOC's podcast. I guess somebody aggregated a clip where I was like, you know, KD's petty about the OKC home game opening night against the Rockets. And I'm like, what? That's bad.
He tweeted 10 years, about time they do something. So
yeah, I mean, it is petty.
That's petty. I mean, even if it's sarcastic, it's petty.
And I want to say, I don't necessarily think being petty is a bad thing, though, because I'd consider myself petty.
Yeah, we all have a little petty wop in us, for sure.
Yeah.
We're down a man today at our normal Thursday Takeoff Thursday. Isaac Harris, food poisoning. Somebody out there didn't like a take and poisoned him, I think, somewhere out there. Today's episode, we're going to get into which player do the Mavs need to make a leap the most. We'll talk about Dereck Lively, Max Christie, Brandon Williams, maybe Jaden Hardy, maybe Omax Prosper. I think those are the candidates on there. And then we want to get into some of the players across the league who need to make a leap for their team. But let's start here slightly. Making a leap, to me, is like something very specific to a young player that we haven't seen in the league very much. It's very rare that a Kyle Lowry happens, where it's a player that's been around for a little while and then all of a sudden makes a leap. Like he went from, he was in Memphis for a little while and then he went to Toronto and all of a sudden he takes this huge leap and you're like, wait, how did this, veteran player make this leap where you go from one status of player to another status, like a different level of player? He went from like bench point guard to starter point guard, and I think he was in Houston too, and then he like took another leap and was like all-star point guard. Like that doesn't happen very late in somebody's career very often. And so I look at some of the young guys who we've seen a little bit of and look around, and I think the candidates for the players that could take a leap. Now it could happen to a PJ Washington, a Daniel Gafford, I don't like maybe Klay Thompson, but like they've been in the league so long already. We've seen enough tape of film with that. Naji Marshall should have been my third one there.
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, Klay Thompson's not taking a leap.
What if he does? It would be a leap back, leap back to where he used to be. If one of those players could all of a sudden get a lot better, but I think we've seen enough tape and film on those guys to know what they are in the league at this point. And honestly, it's great for all those guys. We know exactly what we're going to get from those players. They're all good basketball players, good NBA players, and they're going to bring something to this Mavericks team. And so when I ask the question, who do the Mavs need to make a leap the most? And I think that the candidates are Lively, Christie, Brandon Williams, Hardy, Omax. I wouldn't put Cooper Flagg in this yet because we just haven't even seen him in the NBA yet to know what his leaping off point would be. Yeah. Who do you think needs to make a leap the most?
Well, it does kind of depend because, I mean, leaps for these guys don't even necessarily have to be superstar leaps. It could just be leaping into another tier of player, Lively leaping into a real legit all defense guy, right? And maybe some DPOY into bottom of the ballot votes. I would say Christie for what the Mavs team needs, like the idea of Max Christie, where can we maybe get to like where it was those first 7 games at like a somewhat consistent level? That would be in my by my estimations, the biggest sort of pendulum swinger for the Mavs in terms of realistic, leaps.
I think it's Max Christie too. I've harped on him a couple of times this offseason because I think that he represents a piece that the Mavericks starting lineup really needs. Somebody, the reason why we're having such a hard time nailing down what the starting lineup should be is one, because the roster is kind of weirdly formed, right? You've got maybe your 3 best players that are going to play opening night are all 4s in Anthony Davis, Cooper Flagg, and PJ Washington potentially. And so what do you do with that group? And then you have 3 centers in Anthony Davis and in Lively and Gafford, who could all start on like a lot of teams in the NBA. And it is just a weird group of players that I'm excited to see. But Max Christie, if he took a leap, to me it looks like him becoming a definite starter, where you look at his play and go, man, he's shooting like 40% from 3. He can handle it off the dribble. He can do a little bit of secondary creation. He's become the second best catch and shoot player on the Mavs. I don't think he can get to first because Klay Thompson exists, and that would be very hard to become the best catch and shoot guy on the team. And he's the best perimeter defender, the best guard defender on the team. He's surpassed Caleb Martin. He's better than what Cooper Flagg is going to be first year. He's better than what PJ Washington can do, what Naji Marshall can do, that he's better defending on the perimeter than those guys. And I don't think a leap for him takes him to fringe all-star status. Like I don't think that. I think he would go to right now he's fringe starter. I think a leap would take him to definite starter. There's no question he has to start because of what he brings to that lineup. And that would do so much for this Mavericks team. And that's why I would pick him too instead of Lively. Yeah, and I also just I think Lively's jump would take him to a different stratosphere of player than Max Christie, but it would be, I don't want to say redundant, but it would be, it's not as pressing of a need as what Max Christie could get you potentially. Cause and I'm being, I don't know about you. I don't want to speak for you, but I'm being realistic with the Dereck Lively leap where it's like, I'm not looking at it like, well, if he goes like Brook Lopez and just starts shooting 4 or 5 threes a game, like that's not in the deck of cards for me. Like I don't. I want it so bad though. I want to see him take. Let's get the free throw shooting up to like 65. That's totally fair.
Then
that's part of his.
Hey, maybe an elbow jumper. Right? Maybe we just like slowly work our way. Then maybe next year. Like
I think he's a weird player where I think the 3 is more likely than an elbow jumper.
I know, but it's just I used to be a big believer, but the more I've thought about it, the more I'm like, man, it's a reason why Brook Lopez is always the only guy that gets talked about.
Horford is the other one.
Yeah, Horford too. But I also feel like Horford was a product of, and Brook Lopez too, a product of the time.
Well, they were also scoring bigs too, where they would have the ball in their hands a little bit. They could, They were great post guys, and then it became like, hey, they had the touch. This
is kind of like getting phased out a little tiny bit. Can you guys spread the floor more?
The thing, though, about Lively and we're getting into Lively taking threes, but the thing about him, though, is he is let me just work on this one move. Let me just get this one like hook shot around the rim and work on that. And that has proven to work for him. So if he's like, all right, let me work on this one move, passing out of the short roll, and that worked really well for him. Let me work on this one move, and maybe it's a 3-point, like a corner 3 or a, just a catch and shoot 3-point shot. Maybe he is the one where mechanically he just needs to like sit and make that one move, and that could work for him in that sense. And we've seen him like knock down a bunch of threes. I've seen him in warmups. We obviously saw the video.
All of these guys can do that. I need Steven Adams. These guys can do that, man.
I saw Steven Adams go all the way across the world, like in a warm-up, hitting threes. I've seen Dwight Powell do it for a decade, like legitimately a decade. Dwight Powell hits more threes than anybody listening to this show would right now.
This is anecdotal, but there's a guy that used to go to my LA Fitness who was a big, like your traditional plotting big,
a normal human size big, like 6'4".
No, I'm saying he was like 7 feet tall, and like he was on the Charlotte's G League team for just a tiny bit, like years ago, and he would sit there in the wing and just bank threes, made every single one of them, just messing around. Like in practice, they can do anything. I think for Lively, you mentioned the hook shot. That's what I want. That's a leap that I'm like, if he can get the ball in the post and get like work on that touch to where he's got that a solid jump hook, that actually is a kind of realistic and possible pathway to really, really improving and maximizing his game in a serious way.
Coming up, let's talk about what a Lively leap would look like. And Let's make a case for Lively that if Lively took a leap, it would be the best for the Mavericks. Talk about that and more coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by FanDuel. August 26th is coming up. It's like next week. It's officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans to live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL's season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or you're ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week 1 even kicks off, this is your moment. You can go to FanDuel and see what is available there for the NFL. All kinds of stuff. Let's see. The Cowboys Super Bowl odds. There's no way that these are any good at all.
Do you even know Cowboys fans? They're betting it.
I don't know. The more Cowboy fans I've talked to this year are like, I can't say this is our year anymore. They're like, I've just been hurt too many times.
But that's because you live in Dallas.
The Cowboy fans outside.
Yes, it's the outside ones.
Cowboys Super Bowl odds plus 450 or plus 4,500.
Oh, I was about to say.
Sorry,
what?
yeah, plus 4,500. Worse than the Cardinals, the Bears, the Chargers, the Buccaneers, the Texans, the Bengals, the Vikings.
Right, that's fair. Worse than the Cardinals,
the Broncos, the 49ers, the Rams, Packers, Commanders. So maybe you're one of those Cowboys fans that lives somewhere else and you're like, hey, I feel good about them. Visit the FanDuel app today. Start planning your futures bets today because Futures Day is one day. It's August 26th. One day only. FanDuel, play your game. And please gamble responsibly.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Dallas is going to get a seat at the table.
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of this show, part of the Raccoon Squad. That's what we call our listeners, listening every single day. We have a text line. Support the show. Text us. Get text alerts from us on Mavs Rumors, news updates, game previews, all kinds of stuff through the season and off season. Click the link in the description. Go to joinsubtext.com/LockedOnMavs or text the number 214-643-8637. All right, Slightly. We're talking about players that need to take a leap for the Mavericks. We both agreed Max Christie would be the most helpful if he made a leap because the Mavs are in desperate need of guards more so than centers because you could slide Anthony Davis over to the 5 and all of a sudden you have an all NBA player at center, right? Like,
yeah,
if Lively takes a leap, then you have, here's my case for Dereck Lively to take a leap. You mentioned it. You mentioned the case for it earlier. His leap would him going from starter level player that can play in a finals, which is at a different level than what Max Christie is right now. Starter level player that can play in a finals to all defensive guy, fringe all-star player if there was like a drought. Like if there was like a year where there's like, okay, well, there's not a ton of centers and they just think that somebody needs to and they just need to get a center in there. Somebody feels the need to do that in the front court. And he's that impactful defensively. If that happens, all of a sudden you have an all defensive player at center, at your next forward position, and then probably with Cooper Flagg too. And all of a sudden that becomes demon time, like in a real way, and not the Demon Hunters, but just like straight up. Have you seen that movie?
I have. I've seen it. Yeah.
Everywhere. It's everywhere. I have watched it as well. And
it's not bad.
It is like fun, campy, like
it is.
You know, it's just like a good time. You know, it's like eating a pack of like Sour Patch Kids.
The boy band just has so much aura.
Soda pop. I don't know what they say in that song at all, except for soda pop. I don't know any of the word. Like I can't make out a single word. I was at my barber the other day. Shout out to my barber Eric, by the way, who was a listener of this show and DM'd me on Instagram one day when I posted a photo of myself going on TV, and he said, "Next time you go on TV, you need to come to me first." And I was like, because my hair looks so bad, and he was like, "Well."
Shout out to Eric.
And
Good looks.
Eric takes care of me. But I was sitting in his barber chair the other day, and all of a sudden one of those songs plays, and I was like, "Oh, interesting." And then another one plays right after it, and I was like, "Do you know this movie?" And he goes, "No, dude, it's been playing all day. I don't know what this is."
Yeah, have you not seen the Billboard Top 100? It's like 9 songs on there.
It's crazy. Anyway. You never know.
It's number 1 now. I finally beat out that one NPC song. That was what was it? Ordinary. You got me out of the ordinary.
Oh yeah. It's number 1 and it's the first girl group to be number 1 since Destiny's Child.
What?
That is insane.
What was that one group that one girl group that was really big recently?
Dixie Chicks.
No, not Dixie Chicks. Shout out to the Dixie Chicks though.
Shout out to them.
Something element. I don't know. Anyways, what were you saying?
There was the one that Phoebe Bridgers was in.
Oh, Boy Genius?
Yeah.
They're not going to go number 1, but I've been to a Boy Genius concert.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jimmy Neutron was there.
Yeah. Boy Genius, Jimmy Neutron.
Now we're just
Carl.
playing word association games. For Dereck Lively to take a leap, it would give them like another fringe all-star like in the starting lineup, and I think that would be huge. The offensive game I think is part of that too, where he's not just a lob catcher where he shows so much more that you can dump the ball down to him. That all of a sudden gives you a release valve down in the post, and you can now do that with Anthony Davis and with Dereck Lively, and so you always have to have guys at the rim and maybe multiple guys down at the rim defensively, and so that opens up your offensive areas around the perimeter for guys. Like it would open up a lot of different things for this Mavericks team, and obviously you would have a better player if Lively took a leap than if Christie took a leap.
Yeah, now that you're saying all that, I think I'm rethinking my well, just because it's like I think Lively's realistic leap does make him a better player than Christie's realistic leap, like pretty comfortably, more impactful at least, to the point where it's like, don't overthink it. Just take the guy who, you know, if Lively does all of those things,
he's a better player
and becomes like an all defensive level player. He's already super impactful. Like look at all the advanced stuff, all the on and off stuff, and loves Dereck Lively. If you just sort of expanded on that and he was healthy, I mean, that might be a top 50 player just in terms of impact.
I'm going to try to change your mind again. The thing about that though is you already have an AD that can slide to the 5. You have a Daniel Gafford that is better than any backup 2 that the Mavericks have. So you're just taking away minutes from that guy.
So
where if Max Christie takes a leap, then all of a sudden we don't have to have the conversation of, well, should Exum get minutes? Well, should Caleb Martin get minutes? Well, should, like, you know what I mean? Then all of a sudden you have an impactful guy in that 2-guard spot, and it's just probably Christie and Klay.
But then you could argue your strength, which we already are considering a strength in the Mavs front court, is so much better than anybody else's.
Than anybody else's.
That like you would just have that, and it would be one of those things where you get to the playoffs and it's like, oh man, the Mavs don't do that. But how is any team gonna match up with that?
Nobody can go to the rim at the Mavs.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, you'd have 2 monster defensive, all defense level players in the front court, assuming those guys are healthy. And then at that point, does it matter if it's Max Christie or Exum?
Could you make a case that somebody like a Gafford, a PJ, or a Naji, or somebody like that could make a leap? Or do you agree with me that we've just seen enough that we know?
No. So those guys like that, and we saw this at the end of the year with Naji, guys like that, a lot of times, you know, you have to remember, we had this debate last week. I do think this is the most talented the league's ever been. Sometimes with these guys, it's just opportunity and, hey, Naji, like, all these guys are hurt. You're basically our point guard. And Naji's going out there and giving you 30 in 10 games, right? I think he only had one of those. But, like, going out there and putting
20 almost every game, like a ton.
Yeah. I mean, putting up – I did this whenever I was looking back at the season. He was the first non-Luka, non-Kyrie player to get 30 points and 10 assists in a game since Darren Williams in 2016. So, like, you know, he had, like –
Darren Williams. Yeah. That was the first year I started covering the Mavs, I think.
I think I still have a Darren Williams jersey laying around somewhere, but
now it's a Brandon Williams jersey.
True, yeah.
I think Brandon Williams is on this list to potentially take a leap, and his leap would be to become like an NBA rotation player. Go from where he is. He's going to be 26 in November, which is like almost the same age as Gafford and PJ, but we've only seen 74 games of him. That's why I think he's still a candidate to take a leap, because we just haven't seen enough of him to know. And he was a two-way player 2 years ago that didn't look like he belonged. Then last year we saw some flashes of like, oh man, this guy could really be a rotation player for the Mavericks. He takes a leap again and just solidifies himself. And all of a sudden we're going, man, is there a competition for D'Angelo Russell right now? Like, that would be big.
Yeah, the reason why I wouldn't include B. Will, and I love B. Will, and I do. I'm really, really happy for him to be on a standard contract. It's like I don't know what is a realistic leap for him beyond what you said, like just being a rotation player, which I think would be great, but I'd rather have a Christie leap or a Lively leap.
Yeah, I wouldn't do most, but I think he could make a leap.
He for sure he could. Yeah. I mean, he was awesome last year. I mean, really, he was. He's
super impactful. All of a sudden, he comes in, and like, when a player looks different on the court, you go, oh, dang.
Yeah.
The thing I'm worried about with him, though, is that, man, I did a mailbag the other day for our text line, and somebody asked, what's your beef with Brandon Williams? It's like, I don't have a beef. My problem with Brandon Williams is he played like 18 games in the rotation, and he only played 4 straight games 3 times last year. So end of the season, he's coming in with fresh legs a lot of the time, and then just being a spark plug offensive player where he's beating guys off the dribble.
Yeah.
Late in the season when guys are tired, weird things are happening in March and April in the NBA, right? Like we always get to it every year and we go, oh my gosh, this is like so different basketball than it was at the beginning of the season or in December or even January. And that I just hope that it's not a flash in the pan in that sense. And I think he did show real NBA skills. I think I'm not sitting here going, man, he should be waived. He should be waived because he's got non-guaranteed, and that's the guy that should go and not Hardy or Omax. I'm not doing that thing, but I'm also not like penciling him in or putting him in pen in the rotation yet.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to be realistic with your expectations, really. But you know that doesn't mean that B. Will couldn't be a rotation guy for the Mavs. But will he be like a starter? No, he won't. Like that almost. If that does happen, then things have gone poorly again. Right,
like really good for Brandon Williams.
Right, but I'm saying realistically, that's probably not. That's probably not going to happen. I mean, he's a smaller guard, and it's like he's super efficient. I mean, he shot 40% from 3 last year on a small sample. But the thing is he never. I think it's what you said. He on the floor, it looked like he belonged every single time he was out there. And there were times where it was like, oh my, this might be the best player the Mavericks have on the court. So
there were stretches.
Going out and getting D'Lo, I just don't know what. Yeah, but I think a breakout could happen for sure for him. But
we got to remember that D'Lo was an all-star at some point. I don't think he's that level of player right now, but that he has shown that in his career. So
would a breakout for B. Will just be more opportunity? Because he was 50, 40, 80 last year. Like that's
a break. So a breakout for him, and this is the case for a lot of two-way players, end of the rotation guys. Hardy and Omax, considering we've seen some flashes from them, it's consistency. It's can you do that a bunch of times? Have you ever seen there's Bob's Burgers episode where he's trying to teach the sergeant, like the police officer guy, how to be a chef to go undercover?
No, I've Bob's Burgers is one of my blind spots.
This is too long of a walk for this analogy, but he's like, the thing is, anybody can make a burger. Yes, but can you do it 100 times in a day? Can you do it every single day? Can you do it a month from now? Can you do it 6 months from now? Can you continue to do it? And that's, I think, the thing for Brandon Williams is, can you do it every night? Can you come in and be consistent like that in whatever role you're given?
Yeah, I feel that. But have you ever heard of the Paul Millsap doctrine?
The Paul Millsap doctrine?
This is a real thing. Somebody in like 2000 and I don't know. It was a long time ago, early 2010s, did this thing where they looked at Paul Millsap and said, these low usage players with really good per 36 stats, usually if you bump up their usage, their stats remain the same. Like their per 36 stats remain the same.
What's Brandon Williams per 36?
I have to be pretty crazy considering his efficiency. Last year, 20 points, 5.5 rebounds. That's us. Or 5.5 assists, sorry.
Five free throws a game?
Yeah, I mean, gets to the rim, hits threes. That's a valuable guard right there.
Interesting. Let us know in the comments on YouTube or wherever at Locked On Mavs on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Who do you think needs to make a leap the most? Coming up, let's talk about the players that need to make a leap the most across the league. I've got one who their team is desperate for this guy to take a leap. I'll tell you who it is. Come on.
I have to apologize that you felt that he should have played more.
That's for Brandon Williams. Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs. I'm here with Slightly Biased of the great Slightly Biased YouTube channel and the Slightly Biased Clips channel. I find myself watching a bunch.
That's not me. I have to say, that's not me.
The Clips channel?
Oh, on YouTube it is, yeah.
I was like, what have I been watching if that's not you?
There's a Slightly Biased Clips Twitter and stuff that'll tweet things. It'll talk in the third person. And people will be like, why are you talking like that? And I want to reply something. I'm like, that one's not me. But I just let it go.
We used to have a Locked On Mavs Clips channel, and then he became a Lakers fan.
Oh, that's sad to hear.
Oh, you can. Okay.
Before the Luka trade? Oh. That's a good one.
All right, let's talk about players across the league who need to take a leap for their team. I think the number one player, when I started going through this and started going through every team, I think the Milwaukee Bucks need Cole Anthony to make a leap more than any other player in the known universe. I just think that him as the point guard over there, he definitely took a step back with the Magic the last couple of years. They need him to make a leap so badly because they don't really have anybody else.
That's so sad.
It is. But I started looking through it and I was like, you know what? More than these other players, like I wrote down Paolo Banchero, Amen Thompson, Reed Shepherd, like a bunch of other players. And I was like, man, Cole Anthony's 25. He has been in the league for 5 years, but his role kind of got decreased each of the last four seasons. Like his second year with the Magic, he started all 65 games, played 32 minutes a game, and then it went down to 26, 22, last year 18 minutes. And his role just got decreased with the Magic. But if he finds a way to take a real step forward, that'd be huge for the Bucks, but that's the situation that they're in.
That would be pretty big. I would have guessed he was older than 25, honestly, but
he's in the 2020 draft.
He's always been a weird player though, where it's like good numbers, but if you watch the games or ask any Magic people, they'd just be like, yeah, I mean, he kind of is who he is. Like one of those guards who puts up stats and is good offensively, but how much can you rely on him?
Well, his first 2 years where he was putting up the numbers and he was playing more, he shot under 40% both years. Like,
yeah, exactly. Same age, same team, KPJ. Is there?
I thought about him because I looked at the Bucks. I looked at the Bucks team and I was like, somebody needs to take a leap on this team. And then I sorted it by birthdays, and all their players that are young are not really that good. And Kevin Porter Jr. is is about the same age, but has been in the league a little bit longer. I don't know if we'll see.
I'd say Kevin Porter Jr. had definitely had bigger flashes than Cole Anthony, where it was like in the Houston days where it was like, oh, there are moments where it's like, this guy looks really good, but
just more erratic too.
Speaking of these type of players, can I throw one out there?
Go for it. We're playing. What about this guy?
This one is a breakout. We didn't really second year guy. Didn't see much of him in a high capacity, but Rob Dillingham, I mean, he's pretty big for the future of that team. So I would say it's a pretty big year for him.
I had Rob Dillingham for sure on that because Conley's going to be 38.
Yeah, he's getting up there in age.
He
looked it last year.
Yes, he's getting up there. He looked it. They have Anthony Edwards with the ball in his hands a good deal, right? Like they don't really need somebody to be the Chris Paul point guard anymore. Like that doesn't really happen that much in the NBA anyway. But they need somebody to step up in that other guard role. And I put Terrence Shannon in the same spot as Dillingham. I was like, if either of those guys take a leap, I think that would be good for the Timberwolves. And
this is what they drafted him for. I mean, they knew year one probably not going to play much, but I mean, they traded 2 future picks for him. So it was a big investment. And we'll see. It'll be really interesting because those type of players are they got to be really good.
We picked 2 6'1", 6'2" guards.
I mean, you could go
Reed Shepherd. Reed Shepherd's going to round out
my
next one. Like we're picking all these 6-foot guards that need to pan out, but the Rockets need him to pan out. I think they also need Amen to take a leap offensively, both shooting the ball and handling the ball. That is huge for them, and that's maybe more important than Reed Shepherd. But
yeah, I was about to say, I think they could survive Reed Shepherd maybe teetering being on my bust if Amen Thompson takes a big leap on ball.
Their guards are like Amen Thompson, Fred VanVleet, and Reed Shepherd.
Yeah,
it's like kind of it.
Yeah, I mean,
and Amen's more of like a 3.
They did bring back Aaron Holiday was probably a little bit more important for them than people might realize at times last year.
That's bad for Reed Shepherd.
Yeah,
that sentence is true.
Fair.
Jaden Ivy for the Pistons is another one. They lost. They lost a big one. They lost the Schroeder player there, and they lost Tim Hardaway. Like they've had a couple of losses here. Where you go, okay, all of a sudden Jaden Ivy needs to be pretty good for that Pistons team because it's Cade, it's Ivy, it's Karis LeVert. I think they have Duncan Robinson, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And then Asar Thompson, Ron Holland, not giving you a ton on offense, especially shooting. Then Tobias Harris, Beef Stew, Duren. It's not a lot of offense. You're getting some with Tobias, but not with Beef Stew or Duren really, or B-Ball Paul. Like they're, Paul Reed, their other center. And so they need offense from Jaden Ivy really badly.
Yeah, and he was good last year before he got hurt. So hopefully he gets back to that. I'm trying to think of, because it's funny if we were to do this exercise last year, one of the main guys we would have said is Christian Brown.
I had him on my list.
Another leap.
Yeah. He's the only candidate on the Nuggets to take a leap, right?
Yeah. And I thought, he was so important for them last year, but they're a lot deeper now. So it's a little bit different. I mean, I'm trying to just think kind of off the top of my head, looking at some of these teams.
Here's one to take like a high level leap. I think the Cavs need Evan Mobley to take another leap.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Because like they are the number 1 team in the East again this year, and there's no Celtics in their way, right? There's no bad matchup, Pacers team in their way anymore. They need Evan Mobley to be all NBA. Like what was he this year? But they need him to be like close to first team.
Was he a second team? Or? I think he was, right?
He was second team All NBA.
Yeah.
All defensive, but I think it's the offense that needs to take that leap again.
Yeah, no, that's a good shout. How about Jay Huff?
I mean, yeah, if you want to move, you can say Nembhard again. Like you could put TJ McConnell. Can we throw them? Any of those Pacers? I went through this and there's not many West ones like the Houston guys, Christian Brown, the 2 Timberwolves, Keegan Murray for the Kings.
They don't matter. I'll throw one at you.
When I came with a lot of teams, I just went like, it won't even matter if that guy takes the leap.
I will actually throw a very consequential one at you. Chet.
I thought about Chet. Give me your take that Chet needs to take because they're already that good.
I know. And Chet defensively, uber impactful. Even saw it in the finals where there were times where I was like, my God, Chet looks dreadful on the offensive side of the floor. But was so impactful defensively for them. And it's 2 playoffs in a row that I've been super underwhelmed by Chet offensively, but he's had good regular seasons offensively. In his rookie year, he ran into a rookie wall. Obviously played 82 games that year, but you look at the numbers, it tailed off dramatically towards the end of the season. Last year, he dealt with that hip injury and it looked good in the regular season offensively, and the playoffs just fell off. If he puts it together a little bit more offensively and it's more consistent, and I'd say his handle's just a little tighter. He develops more of like a go-to matchup hunting move, like a post fade or something like that. And his 3-point shot's more consistent in playoffs. That team, and everyone's going to hate me for saying this, that team is unbeatable. They will not be beaten. They will steamroll the playoffs. I know I said they would do that this past offseason, but I don't care. They'll do it again this year.
Secret Thunder fan, slightly biased.
I said they would win it last year, and everyone wanted to crucify me, and then I was correct. The
Chet thing, I think Chet needs to take a leap next season. Like they need between this next season and the season after, because that's what the season after they're going to lose Hartenstein, right? Because of the money and stuff.
Almost certainly, yeah. That's why they drafted Sorber.
That's why I think they need between the next season and the season after. They need Chet to take that leap that you're talking about.
But Topic, you wouldn't consider him because he's a rookie.
He hasn't played enough to me. Dude.
He's played 0.
I have Paolo Banchero.
Yeah, I mean, see, I wasn't even factoring him in because I almost just pencil him in. It's like, I think we're going to get it.
Yeah, but he wasn't. Well, he only played 46 games last year. I guess he would have been All NBA last year.
Yeah,
right?
He was awesome. And then he was great in the playoffs. So,
yeah, very good. Very
I'm penciling him in.
Jalen Johnson was my last one for the Hawks.
He just needs to stay on the floor is his thing, really. I think we've already kind of seen it. It reminds me to kind of a lesser extent, and people are going to hate me that I'm bringing this up again, but I don't care. It reminds me to a lesser extent of, obviously not MVP level, but Shea with the Thunder, where it was like the breakout's coming, and it's like the breakout's really already happened, but their team just wasn't good, and he got hurt halfway through the season.
Yeah.
But that's where Jalen Johnson was last year, where it was like the breakout did happen, but just he got hurt.
Let us know, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, wherever, who needs to take a leap the most for the Mavericks. Go check out Slightly Biased, great YouTube channel. Tomorrow we'll be back. I don't know with whom. Hopefully Isaac will not be sick anymore, but we'll be back tomorrow with more. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.
I promise I'm not a Thunder fan.